The second phase of exercise Malabar 2020 will be conducted in the northern Arabian Sea from 17th to 20th of November 2020. Taking forward the synergy achieved in the recently conducted Phase 1 of exercise Malabar 2020, which was conducted in the Bay of Bengal from 3rd to 6th of November 2020, this phase will involve coordinated operations of increasing complexity between the navies of Australia, India, Japan and United States. This phase will witness joint operations centered around the Vikramaditya Carrier Battle Group of the Indian Navy and Nimitz Carrier Strike Group of the United States Navy. The two carriers, along with other ships, submarine and aircraft of the participating navies, would be engaged in high-intensity naval operations in over 4 days. In addition to Vikramaditya and its fighter and helicopter air wings, indigenous destroyers Kolkata and Chennai, stealth frigate Talwar, fleet support ship Deepak and integral helicopters will also participate. All of these are led by Rear Admiral Krishna Swaminathan, who is the flag officer commanding of the Western Fleet. Indigenously built submarine Khanderi, P-8I maritime reconnaissance aircraft and the MiG-29K fighter aircraft of the Indian Navy will also participate. United States Navy's strike carrier Nimitz will be accompanied by cruiser Princeton and destroyer Stirret. In addition to P-8A maritime reconnaissance aircraft, Royal Australian Navy will be represented by frigate Ballarat along with its integral helicopter. GMSDF will also participate in this particular exercise. Hello everyone and welcome back for another interesting and informative, very important session of the defense updates provided by SSB Crack Exams. I am Hemant and I welcome you for this particular session. SSB Crack Exams is India's largest, most preferred online defense exams preparation portal. If in case you are preparing for the upcoming defense examinations like NDA, CDS, AFCAT, INET, Territorial Army and Central Armed Police Forces Assistant Commandant's examination, I highly recommend you to download our Android app and start off with your courses and preparation, wherein which we have given a lot of important lecture material, study material and all the important content, sample practice questions, quizzes, exercises and even mock tests will be very important for the examination preparation. You can also follow us on all sort of social media platforms to keep yourself updated about the current and the important updates and regarding the India and the foreign defense inputs. Beginning with the question of the day that I have asked on 16th of November 2020, and the question that I asked was, in 2015, Seychelles and India signed an agreement for constructing and operating joint military facility on which island? I repeat the question. In 2015, Seychelles and India signed an agreement for constructing and operating joint military facility on which island? And everybody of you have given a correct answer. The correct answer for this one is Assumption Island. Okay, so this is a very small island which is located north of the Madagascar with around 1135 kilometers southwest of the capital Victoria on Mahé Island, which is not under any control of India as of now. Okay, so Assumption Island is not at all under any control. What happened was, in the year of 2015, Seychelles government has signed an agreement with India and the Seychelles National Assembly has refuted that particular agreement. That agreement was there to operate a joint military facility on the portion of an island, but this was completely opposed by the opposition parties and by the citizens of Seychelles. So the protests were continued and the plan caused the public protest by the activists who believe that the islands should stay out of the brewing India-China regional conflict. So they felt that building these important joint military facility will be improving the India stance in combating with China, but the Seychelles citizens are not at all interested at that particular time. They didn't want India to be a part, their government or their territory to be a part of the India-China conflict. So they protested to that particular one, and soon later on the agreement was then later declared dead by the island's opposition party also. And as of now, we do not have any sort of any control on this particular island. So it was there in the year of 2015 that this particular thing was done. So that is it regarding the question of the day's explanation. Now let us begin with the first and foremost important defense information, and that is regarding the phase 2 of the exercise Malabar 2020. We had gone through the complete details regarding the phase 1 of the Malabar 2020, and we already know that the phase 1 of Malabar 2020, when was it conducted? It was conducted from 3rd to 6th of November 2020. And where was it done? It was done in the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so it was done in Bay of Bengal from the Vishakhapatnam, but this is the phase 2. This will be conducted in the northern Arabian Sea. The phase 1 was conducted in the eastern side, so the phase 2 is conducted in the western side. So this will be conducted from 17th to 20th of November. So or that clearly mentions that from today we are beginning this exercises. So the phase 2 will include the cross deck flying operations from two important aircraft carriers. We have the aircraft carrier from India, INS Vikramaditya, and also we have the United States aircraft carrier USS Nimitz. So INS Vikramaditya and USS Nimitz, both of them will be flying along with their own aircraft. So Vikramaditya's aircraft include MiG-29K fighters, and the Nimitz fighter aircrafts, they include F-18 and E-2C Hawkeye. So these aircrafts will be going different operations. So MiG-29K fighters will fly, they will land on Nimitz, and Nimitz aircrafts like F-18, F-2C Hawkeye, they will fly and then they will land on Vikramaditya. So all of those operations are known as cross-deck flying operations. So that also will be conducted in this particular series of exercise, and various other important inputs will also be taken into consideration. Also, we need to understand that in about all of these exercises, they all began in the year of 1992. Okay, so we began these exercises in the year of 1992, and when the first time when we were conducting Malabar, only United States was a part of it. Later on, Japan became a part, and this particular in the year of 2020, for the first time, Australia has also become a part with the Malabar, mentioning and making it a very strong quad against defense of China. We should also understand about the naval assets that are participating in this 2020 phase 2 of the Malabar exercise. They include INS Chennai and INS Kolkata, both being indigenously built destroyers of our Indian Navy. Then comes INS Talwar, which is a stealth frigate, INS Deepak, which is a fleet support ship, INS Khanderi, which is an indigenously built submarine. We also have included the PA Maritime Reconnaissance aircraft will also be participating, and then comes the helicopter groups and the MiG-29K fighters, which will be flying from INS Vikramaditya. So including INS Vikramaditya, what all ships are participating, what all ships and submarine, they include INS Chennai, INS Kolkata, INS Talwar, INS Deepak, INS Khanderi, and then comes the PA Maritime Reconnaissance aircraft, MiG-29K fighters and helicopter groups. Going through the foreign naval assets, they include the cruiser of the United States ship USS Princeton and the destroyer of the United States that include USS Terret. Along with both of these, that means what? United States Nimitz, the USS Nimitz, which is an aircraft carrier. Along with that, USS Princeton and USS Terret will be participating. And then from the Australian side, Her Majesty's Australian ship HMAS Ballarat, which is a frigate of the Australian Navy, that will be participating along with its own aircraft and the helicopter groups. Various Japanese maritime self-defense force ships will also be participating, and the aim of this exercise is an open, inclusive Indo-Pacific and a rules-based international order. I repeat, what it is: the open, inclusive Indo-Pacific and a rules-based international order. All of these will be at sea only, no contact type of exercises, and all of them will be maintaining and following the COVID-19 pandemic regulations and maintaining the proper health medical things, and they will also have a proper bilateral relationships, and various defense agreements might be signed in all of these important ones. So now going through with the next important update is regarding that India now has a dedicated drones directorate to focus exclusively on drones. So the Director General of Civil Aviation, the Civil Aviation Authority of India, has now come up with a new directorate for the drones itself. So this is a very, very strategic update. This is regarding making India the drone capital of the world, because India is manufacturing a lot of important drones, and the various crucial parts of regarding the drones are manufactured in our country and then in China also. So these are all the efforts in making our country the drone capital. And regarding this particular one, the DGCA has taken the permission to set up this directorate from the Finance Ministry. From which ministry? Not from the other ministries like Defense Ministry or the Home Ministry. It took the permission from the Finance Ministry, and it had allotted around 8 officials from the DGCA, which will be expanded over time. All of these will help more focus on the drones. And we have to understand that this is a pleasant surprise, since under the pandemic related austerity measures, formation of any new department undergoes extreme scrutiny. One more baby step towards making India the drone capital of the world, we have to understand, and getting a single function to look at all the aspects of operations is going to reduce the need for running around to get a complete picture. So we must see this as a much needed focused measure where all the functions are equally motivated. And to dedicated efforts on making India the drone capital. We should also remember that all of these are very, very important because India is a kind of country, it follows the NP-NT policy, which include the no permission, no takeoff policy. If you're following a drone, if you're a drone operator, it is compulsory that you need to have a proper license from the DGCA or from the respected authorities. So if you do not have permission, you cannot take off. So these are the regulations that are there. So for the first time, we got a exclusive directorate. So this is a very, very important update. Going through with the next important news is regarding that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping will be joining today again back. So from today, the BRICS summit will be hosted. So remember today what BRICS, what is the full form of BRICS? It is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. I repeat, it is the Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. So 5 countries are formed BRICS. Mention in the comment section what is the purpose of making the BRICS, when was the first meeting and where was it conducted, and that is very, very important one because all of these are very, very important things. And if you go through the details that this BRICS 2020 summit will be hosted online, it will be hosted what? It is a virtual summit. Remember, this 2020 summit is a virtual summit. It will be hosted by Russia. Okay, hosted by Russia. And mention also in the comment section when was the 2019 BRICS summit, where was it hosted. Okay, so these are very, very important ones. And if you go through the theme regarding the BRICS summit 2020, the theme regarding this summit is global stability, shared security and innovative growth. I repeat, global stability, shared security and innovative growth. This summit is being held in the backdrop of pandemic, will discuss intra-BRICS cooperation and key global issues. And what are these kind of global issues? There might be various ones which include regarding the measures to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 crisis, cooperation in counter-terrorism, trade, health, energy, anything it might be taken into consideration. So in 2021, what happens in the next year, India will take over as the chair of the BRICS, and for the third time since the grouping's inception, and host the next summit. Okay, so the 2021 BRICS summit will be held in our country, in India. If you go through in detail, we had around many important summits with various other countries. So the top leadership of India and China, both of them are expected to change. So both Indian Prime Minister, the Indian top leadership and the Chinese top leadership, they already have met at various issues, that including on November of 10th, we had the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. And on November of 14th, we had the East Asia Summit. In both of these summits, both the President Xi Jinping and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, both of them have met, and this is the third time that both will be meeting again through virtual mode, through BRICS summit. And in the coming up on November 21st and 22nd, again there will be a G20 summit. There also the people will be meeting back again, the top dignitaries. And on November of 30, there will be a Shanghai Cooperation Organization Council of Heads of Government meeting. So this will be the 2020 SCO Council of Heads of Government meeting. So this is also considered to be a very important one. So in this particular month in November, 5 times both Indian and the Chinese top authorities, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping will be meeting. So this is a very important one. So that is it regarding this important update. Now going through with the next update is regarding that the center has agreed to deploy 5 new Central Reserve Police Force battalions in Bastar zone. Bastar is a kind of Maoist hit area. It is located in Chhattisgarh. So the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister has in the September 2020 has written to Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister of our country, and he has written in a very detailed way that this particular region is completely hit by the Naxals and by the Maoists. So he requested to deploy 7 battalions of CRPF in this particular one. And from the 7, 5 battalions are now sanctioned by the Home Minister, and all of these will be deployed at the Bastar region. So what will they do? They will completely look over the area, maintain the security, and they will completely take into custody the Maoists and the terrorists. And this might be a very important one. Taking cognizance of the demand, Union Home Minister has decided to send 5 battalions as soon as possible. Okay, so out of 7 additional CRPF battalions allocated to the state in the 2018, okay, 7 battalions were actually allocated to it. 5 are immediately deployed in the Bastar region as per the information that is being received. Going through with the next strategic and the final update is regarding that the SpaceX is launching 4 astronauts to International Space Station, kicking off regular crew flights from the United States. So they will include 3 men and 1 woman, and 1 person is a Japanese and the other 3 are Americans, and they have shot out. They launched from the Falcon rocket Thunder into the night from the Kennedy Space Center with 3 Americans and 1 Japanese. And the Dragon capsule, which is there on the top, that is named as Resilience. Remember what is it is named? It is named as Resilience. This is very, very important name that you have to remember. So why was it named in this particular one? This is regarding the COVID-19 pandemic and how the various governments are resistive in maintaining and in fighting against the COVID-19 pandemic and in maintaining the health measures all across the world. So taking those things into consideration, they have named this particular Dragon capsule as the Resilience. Okay, so this is due to reach the space station late on Monday and remain there until spring. If you have to go through in detail, that the flight into the space station is around 27.5 hours door to door, and it should be entirely automated, and they were successful. So the leader of this particular crew of 4 people is Commander Mike Hopkins. Okay, so he's the particular one. Here you can find the Japanese citizen. So with COVID-19 still surging, NASA has continued to maintain its safety precautions, and it has kept in place. Sidelined by the virus himself, SpaceX founder and chief executive Elon Musk was forced to monitor the action from afar. He tweeted that most likely had a moderate case of COVID-19, but NASA policy at Kennedy Space Center requires anyone testing positive for the virus to quarantine and remain isolated. Sunday's launch follows by just a few months SpaceX 2 pilot test flight. It kicks off what NASA hopes will be a long series of crew rotations between the United States and the space station after years of delay. More people means more science research at the orbiting lab, according to the officials. This is another historic moment, as said by the NASA administrator Jim Bridenstine on Friday, and he also noted that, make no mistake, vigilance is always required on every flight. The flight to the space station is around 27.5 hours door to door, and it should be entirely automated, although the crew can take control if needed. With COVID-19 still surging, NASA continued the safety precautions. Astronauts went into quarantine with their families in October. All launch personnel wore masks, and the number of guests at Kennedy was limited. Even 2 astronauts on the first SpaceX crew flight stayed behind at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. Vice President Mike Pence, the chairman of National Space Council, has traveled from Washington to watch the launch, and all of these are very, very important one. NASA worried a weekend liftoff coupled with a dramatic nighttime launch could lead to a super spender event. They urged the crowds to wear masks and maintain safe distances. That is it regarding the important news details. Now let us have a very quick review of the important topics by going through some of the most important questions. And the first and foremost question is, which among these Indian warships is not a part of Malabar 20 Phase 2? Is it INS Kolkata or INS Chennai or INS Talwar or INS Mumbai? So the correct answer is INS Mumbai. INS Mumbai is not a part of the Malabar 20 Phase 2. Going through with the next question is, when was Malabar series of exercise started? Okay, it was started in 1992 with the United States and India. Okay, going through with the next question is, Virtual BRICS Summit 2020 theme is what? Okay, the correct theme of the Virtual BRICS Summit 2020 is option C, global stability, shared security and innovative growth. I repeat, global stability, shared security and innovative growth. Going through with the next question is, SpaceX launched 4 astronauts to the International Space Station on Sunday on the first full-fledged taxi flight for NASA by a private company. They contain how many Americans and how many Japanese people? So they contain 3 Americans and 1 Japanese citizen. Going through with the next question is, India's drone rules mandate that only NP-NT compliant drones be allowed to fly. NP-NT means what? NP-NT means no permission, no takeoff. Now we will have the question of the day, and the question of the day for today is, which Indian naval warship's crest depicts the gateway entrance to INS Angre? I repeat the question, which Indian naval warship's crest depicts the gateway entrance to INS Angre? The correct answer for this particular one and the detailed explanation regarding this particular question I will be giving you in the next session. Until then, stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams, subscribe to our channel, download our Android app from Google Play Store. Stay safe, stay healthy. Jai Hind.